Welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to pour this driveway with sand finish. Please stay tuned until the end so you can see the entire process. Here we have an approximate 19 by 17 foot concrete driveway that we removed and replaced. We have a couple steps and a landing here at the top. We're also going to be doing this at the same time. And we have the red chalk line right there. We're going to be pouring up against the concrete retaining wall. We have our perimeter forms already set up, everything ready to go. We're also going to pour this little walkway that connects to the front. And we doweled a couple rebars there so we have some better attachment. We're going to be pumping this concrete so that way it's just a little easier and more efficient. So right here we have quite a bit of guys. We usually like to have an extra set of hands just to make sure that we have everything under control. All these guys, they don't all stay here the whole day or the whole time. In most cases, a few of them will leave after they finish pouring, and then some will stay. That way that we can all do all the finish work that will be needed. So the pour was pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is the results of how it looks right after we poured it. And we run our bull float immediately. We're gonna run it in different directions, filling in any holes or dips that we find throughout the area. And we run that horizontally, vertically, diagonally, in many different ways, because this driveway, it has a little bit of a slope towards the right side. We also have the magnesium float right there. So in between those two tools, we're gonna run it on the entire surface. That way we can even out the concrete, fill in any like holes or divots, just kind of even everything out and just make sure that we have the level where it needs to be. And so we're just gonna do this all over the place. As you can tell right here, that tool, it comes in very handy, especially in this driveway area. We also have a couple guys right here that are working the edges. One of our workers has the edger, so he's making sure that all the edges are nice and crisp and make sure we have the edge all done. And then our other worker, he's also floating the surface over there by the garage floor. And then we have someone else specifically working on the steps. And that way we have all of the areas covered. So right there, we have our edger tool. He's edging all of that concrete. We have another worker right here. He has a hand float. And so he's just running that from one side all the way to the other side. You can see the concrete is very fresh. He's able to manipulate it. And so this is something that we do to the entire surface. Since the concrete is going to be done with sand finish, we need to have the surface. He's moving around the concrete surface so that way he can get the sand to make sure to stay on the upper layer. And then from right there, we have the Fresno tool. You can tell as he's running it through the surface that the color of the concrete is changing. This tool helps us to continue to even out the surface, and also it kind of seals it, and we're able to move the cream, the concrete cream that's on the surface around. And all of this procedure, we're gonna be doing this about 2 to 3 different times throughout the process of when the concrete is drying. And one thing that is very useful is these knee pads. Since the concrete is very fresh, This will help you be able to access all the way on the inside, and you can better work the concrete surface by hand. And which is really good because he was able to find a few spots that were still pretty low. Even though you run your bull float, your mag float, the Fresno, you can run all kinds of different tools, but even then you still want to have somebody there, like in this case, that way they can feel, they can run their tool around the surface, feel, and they'll be able to tell if there's any low spots, and then they can request it right then. So we just want to make sure that we have some really good quality workmanship. And what we recommend is having at least 2 guys, like in this case. That way they can get through all of this in a more efficient way. This is not a big driveway. It's only a 19 by 17 area, so it's not that big of a project. But even still, you want to make sure that you have everything covered, especially on this day because it was pretty hot. It was pretty warm outside, so we noticed that the concrete was drying, especially over here where the sun hits, And one thing that we're doing over there is we got a little sponge. We're putting it in the bucket of water, and we're just cleaning the edges. This is just some little details that we like to do to make sure that we have any over pour or any concrete that kind of fell out of this area, to just make sure it's nice and clean. So this is how everything is looking after we went one time and we floated the entire area. You can see right here, it still looks very wet, very moist. And we're just gonna let it dry a little bit more. And once it gets a little firm, like in this case, this is where we started pouring. This area is almost ready, so we can apply the retarder liquid. And so this is gonna be one of the last times we're gonna be doing all this work. And pretty much like soon after this, the concrete will be ready, so that way we can apply the liquid. This is the pump that we use. It's a commercial grade. We're gonna be putting our liquid into this, and we're gonna spray it on the entire concrete surface. This is the liquid. It's a Dayton Superior Top Cast number 3. This liquid is specially designed to get the sand finish look. So once we sprayed everything, we came back the following day and pressure washed the entire concrete surface. This is the results that we got with the sand finish. Over here where the walkway met with the front entry, you can see the sand all the way through the area here. I'm gonna zoom in right there so you can see the nice texture, very consistent throughout the entire area. We were able to obtain this result by all of the labor work, all of the hand work, all of the tool work that we did. So it definitely paid off. You want to do all of that to make sure that you get a nice, even, consistent sand finish throughout the entire area. So overall, we were very pleased with this. We hope you like this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to be uploading a lot more videos in the coming weeks of different pours that we do. May God bless you, and we'll see you on the next one.